The Venom. It started with a man named Jacob, a typical guy who lived a quiet life in a small town on the edge of a dense forest. Jacob loved hiking and often wandered the forest trails. But one evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, something in the woods changed forever. Jacob stumbled upon an old, strange cave hidden deep in the woods. It was like the forest was hiding it deliberately, as if nature knew what evil lingered inside. The cave walls were slick with moisture, but it wasn't just water. It was something darker, something that moved like a living thing. Jacob felt drawn to it, like a force was pulling him closer. As he approached the pool of black liquid on the cave floor, the substance came to life, slithering towards him. It latched onto his skin, seeping into his veins before he could even scream. That's when the venom took over. It was alive, sentient, and ancient. The venom wasn't just a poison. It was a parasite with a mind of its own. It began whispering to Jacob, softly at first, then louder and more forceful. His body remained his, but his mind was no longer in control. He could feel the venom coursing through his bloodstream, giving him unnatural strength, speed, and senses. But it came with a cost. The venom craved death. It wanted blood, and it wanted Jacob to deliver it. At first, Jacob resisted. He isolated himself, staying far from town. But the venom was relentless, its whispers gnawing at him, promising pleasure if he just gave in. He tried everything to rid himself of the venom, burning it, starving it, drowning it. But nothing worked. The venom was inside him, part of him now. Then, one night, the first murder happened. A man hiking in the woods was found dead, his body twisted in unnatural ways, his skin blackened like it had been burned from the inside out. No one in town could explain what had happened. There were no signs of struggle, no tracks, no evidence. But Jacob knew. He remembered the moment the venom had taken control of his body, forcing him to pounce on the hiker like a wild animal, suffocating him with a strength that wasn't his own. When he came to, the hiker was dead, his body a horrific testament to the venom's power. Jacob was horrified by what he had done, but the venom had no such guilt. It reveled in the kill, growing stronger, more insistent. The voices were louder now, demanding more. It was like a drug, a high Jacob couldn't escape from. The venom gave him the power, but it also took everything from him. His humanity, his soul, his control. The killings continued, and each time Jacob would black out, only to awaken to another mutilated corpse. The venom was precise, targeting its victims with an eerie, almost supernatural knowledge. It seemed to know who would be missed, who wouldn't be, and always led Jacob to those who could be killed without drawing immediate suspicion. But the townspeople began to notice. The disappearances couldn't be ignored forever. Hikers, campers, and even some locals were vanishing without a trace, and the forest became a place of fear. They whispered of a predator, a monster stalking the woods. Search parties were formed, but no one could find anything. Jacob, despite everything, tried to warn them. He didn't know how to explain it. The venom, the loss of control, the murders he couldn't stop, but no one would believe him. To the outside world, he was just a man descending into madness, paranoid and delusional. They didn't see the venom inside him, twisting his mind, warping his reality. One night, a young couple camping near the edge of the forest became the next victims. The venom took over before Jacob could even fight back, dragging him through the woods in a frenzy. It happened so fast. One moment they were laughing around their campfire. The next they were running for their lives as Jacob, possessed by the venom, tore through their tent with inhuman speed. The venom had evolved. It wasn't just controlling Jacob, it was transforming him. His skin darkened, his eyes turned black, and his body moved like a creature born of the night. He was a weapon, and the venom was the hand that wielded him. When Jacob awoke the next morning, he found their bodies torn apart, their campsite drenched in blood. It was worse than anything before, and Jacob realized the venom was growing stronger, more aggressive. It wasn't content with just killing, it wanted carnage. Desperate, Jacob fled to the only person he thought could help, an old hermit who lived deep in the woods, a man rumored to know ancient secrets and dark magic. The hermit listened to Jacob's story, nodding as if he had heard it all before. He told Jacob about the Venom, a cursed entity that had existed for centuries, passing from host to host, leaving death in its wake. There was no cure, the hermit said, only containment. The venom could be sealed, but it required a sacrifice. Jacob, broken and exhausted, agreed. He would do anything to stop the bloodshed, to stop the venom from killing again. The hermit prepared a ritual, drawing ancient symbols on the cave floor, where Jacob had first encountered the venom. The air was thick with tension, and Jacob could feel the venom writhing inside him. Aware of what was happening, fighting back, the ritual began, and Jacob screamed as the venom tore through his body, resisting the pull of the ancient magic. The hermit chanted, his voice rising above the storm that had gathered outside the cave. The venom lashed out, trying to escape, but the hermit was too strong, his magic too old. With one final, agonizing scream, Jacob collapsed as the venom was ripped from his body, sealed inside a stone relic that the hermit buried deep within the cave. The curse was contained, but Jacob was left hollow, his body weak and broken. He returned to town a shadow of his former self, the weight of his actions heavy on his soul. The killing stopped, and the town breathed a sigh of relief, unaware of the horror that had unfolded just beyond the trees. But the venom was patient. It would wait. Cursed things always do.